begin.
I know that most of you don't like tests, but to get into this topic, we'll start with a short test. Please pull up your handouts and try to memorize as much things as possible. There are 10 things listed and you'll have around a minute to memorize them, so work on it. I'll help you to go through them. So we have reindeer, desert, chair. Try to go through them in the way you use them and try to memorize as much as possible. After chair, there is iPhone, Rubik's Cube, window, basketball, bottle, mathematics, and heart. So go through them, go through all of them, try to memorize as much as possible in the best way for you. Okay, you have approximately the last 10 seconds. Got it? Okay, time's up. Try to pull out hand out upside down, and now use your pencil or pen to write down the words that you remembered. Write down as much as possible. Try to memorize and try to come back to your mind and see which of them you remember. I'll give you a couple more seconds to write them down. Think about it, because it wasn't that hard, just 10 words. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you, is there somebody who got at least 5 of the words? Oh, great, it's like more than half. At least 7 words? Good job. 8? Is there somebody who got 10? All of them? Oh, 2 of you? Great. Good job. Memorization is a thing that we use many times. I always wish to memorize things really in really fast way and like in really easy way. But it's still difficult, as we can see also in this test, that it's difficult to memorize just a couple of words. So today we'll talk about visual memorization. The memorization that is used most of the time is verbal memorization, but it's not the best one. The visual memorization, which contains from reading what's the word, visualizing the picture of the word in our mind, and creating a story. Memory is for all of us, since we are students, very important. And I think you'll find interesting to know how to memorize things really fast. So first point is to check and kind of go through the object. It's very important to know what we have to memorize. And it's always important to know the meaning of these words. But after we check out the given subject, how can we then stick it in our mind? The second point is visualizing pictures in mind. It's always important to imagine the thing that is given to us in kind of extraordinary way. It's always good to exaggerate and be creative in your mind. And always, it's also good to connect pictures together. So, on that handout, I remembered reindeer and desert in a way that I remembered giant reindeer, dark brown, walking on the Sahara, and he's really giant, so he covers almost all of the Sahara, and he's actually running there, and his reindeer, one of the reindeers from Santa, so he has shiny red bells, and we can hear the voice of bells ringing, and it's really hot there, and he's sweating, so we can see water dropping from his body, and we can see also gold shiny sand on his body, because it's also really windy there. So that's how I memorize it. So always exaggerate and be creative. The visualization of pictures in mind really helps, but we can still do more to memorize things even easier in a better way. And that's our third point. It's creating the stories. Including illustrations that we imagine, we can connect them together and create stories that are remarkable, that will stay in our minds. Into this video from Memory Academy, from YouTube, I'll show you how they memorize in stories 3 things. First one is Ferrari. Imagine you are driving a bright red Ferrari with it top down. The music is pumping about the throaty growl of the engine, and your hair is blowing in the wind. Next one is chicken. With a loud thump, A giant chicken lands onto the seat next to you. It's the size of a person, enormous and yellow. It must have fallen out of the sky. The next word is watermelon. The chicken opens the car door and leaps out onto the road. As it stands there, the giant green watermelon rolls over it and keeps rolling down the road. So, this is the way how we connect pictures together and memorize them in our minds with the stories, so we'll remember them after a long time. I hope you'll find this interesting, because it really helps memorize things faster, usually in correct order, and for example, I remember things that I memorized by visual memorization months or years ago. So it's always important to just go through the given subject, just to see it, visualize picture of that in our mind in extraordinary way, and create stories connecting the pictures together. I hope you find this helpful, because most of the people are using verbal memorization, and you probably know that it's not always the best one, and it's actually probably never the best one, because visual memorization helps us to keep it in our head in extraordinary way. It has much greater effectivity and it makes difference. So it's just up to you to remember that you have to use visual memorization, and you'll be able to memorize Ferrari, chicken, watermelon, and much more.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, Daniel.